Hey everyone, today we're checking out Raging Loop by Kemco. They were nice enough to give me a code, so we're going to look into it. It's a visual novel with a tribute to Japanese folklore. It has a branching story. I believe it has different endings. It's my second visual novel. I've never really played them too much, so I'm excited to jump in and, see what the game's all about. Wow. Bid you welcome to the world of this visual novel, Raging Loop. We have menu here. Oh wow, there's a lot of stuff. Save, load, next, options, help, title, okay. Chart. Introduction, log, and auto, okay. I am nobody special, honestly. Simply consider me part of the interface. You may refer to me as Rikako. Rikako? You are most likely playing this game for the first time, and I'm here to explain a few things about it. The work is quite strange, you see. It's recommended that the uninitiated take the time to read everything here. Those uploading their gameplay should at least read the videos and sharing section. If you read it until the end, you find a sexy CG of me doesn't exist. We truly do live in a society, a harsh society. How sad. Now, where should I begin? About videos and sharing. Because that's what we're doing. Raging Loop is a visual novel, meaning that the story, events, and conclusions are very important. Because of it, it is very troubling if someone uploaded everything to the internet. I'd be very sad. Then again, we do understand those who want to enjoy our work with many other people. Because of this, we have a set guideline for how far we would like you to upload. The range covers the whole first main route and a little extra. Specifically, you can only upload until the choice at 4, Infiltration, Q, entering the village. That's a lot. Just so you know. I'm sure you'll have enough content for your uploads. I actually think it's a bit too much. Uploaders to read everything aloud might get a sore throat. Please don't overdo yourselves, alright? Not wrong. That's funny. Also, if you intend to upload, please use the reminder function. If you have it set to on, when you reach the time to stop making a video, a strange beep hops onto the screen and says, end of the line. We'd be grateful if you would stop recording when you see him and try theorizing and arguing instead. Function is currently set to off. Yeah, we can set it to on. Very well. I've set it to on. If you wish to change it, please go to introduction and come here again. About special functions. Raging Loop's story branches out and was so complicated it might be hard to follow. But there's no need to worry. We have included a handy function called the scenario chart. You can access it at any time by simply opening the menu, giving you an overview of the scenario. That's not all. Using the chart allows you to move to any chapter you've already been to, anytime, anywhere. Now there's no need to save at every choice you come across. You can simply go back and choose again, so there's nothing to worry about. Well, that's nice to know, right? Next up, keys. Branching story immediately happens when you make a choice. None of them start taking effect until further down the line. However, some of the choices can only be unlocked when you have a specific bit of information called keys. Many might say searching for these keys is one of the major goals in this game. Don't worry if you don't understand how to search for them, it will be explained when you have one. Additionally, keep in mind that all routes unlocked by acquisition of a key will be open even if you haven't saved after the fact. It also means you can't load back to a save when you didn't have the key. Doesn't mean any scene is inaccessible, so it's not much of a problem, but it's something to keep in mind. For those commendable individuals who like to play without any keys again, please refer to the data reset option and use it wisely. I gotta drink some water. If you are familiar with party games, Werewolf and Mafia, this visual novel bears a close resemblance to these, but keep in mind it is just a resemblance. Sincere apologies to those who are open to playing an eternal game of Werewolf with 20 super AI Rikakos. I weep and bleed for you, truly. How sad. Rikako? I don't know how to say her name, I feel bad. Of course, this is not merely a novel. As you carry on, sometimes come up with choices which affect the story and quite amazing. Which is quite amazing. Sorry. The characters have lively visual depictions as well as voices, making it easy to immerse yourself in this world. To enjoy the voices to the fullest extent, or to simply avoid bothering your neighbors with the sound of anguished screams, please consider using headphones. The story is obscenely lengthy as well, so please take care not to be drawn in so thoroughly that you begin losing sleep. Also, you may be aware of this already, but Raging Loop is based entirely around fabricated murders and horror scenes. Tailor-made for all you fans of suspense, thrillers, horror, and mystery. This is a work of fiction, guys. Work of fiction. So it has nothing to do with real people, groups, and incidents. It also includes fictitious details about academic matters such as history, religion, mythology, science, and medicine. Relying upon it during exams would get you 0 points. Dead. Lastly, we do not endorse replicating crimes and cruelty depicted in this work. Just remember to differentiate reality and fiction. This is, after all, fiction. I'm sure you're intelligent enough not to conflate things that happen in the game world with things that happen in real life. So enjoy Raging Loop to your heart's content. Alright, I'm excited. Let's just jump into it. That was a lot of reading already. Dude, that sure took a while. Thank you so kindly for reading this far. Anyway, let's begin the story. Beyond the pockets of mist and hazes of blood, at the end of the ever-repeating despair and grief, please come and witness the truth of the werewolf village with your own 2 eyes. Wow. (5/11) Sunday. I closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. Ooh, the artwork is really nice. Wow, I like that a lot. Well, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. I just followed the road, so I figured I wouldn't get lost, but now I was in some deep shit. No, cool it. This isn't a big deal. I sighed, took note of the fact that I've gotten lost in my pocket, journal, and pulled out a map. Okay. Suddenly, a rush of memories flitted into my mind. We don't have a key. Might as well just save here real quick. Forget it. After all, I'd gone up on this trip to forget. Enough of that. I gotta focus on what's happening right now. Life is simple, just like this road. It's dark, and there aren't any guides, but that means all you gotta think about is whether to go forward or back. Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I just moved forward. Still, I wanted to know where I was, at least, so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. Last time I'd seen a sign, it was still light out, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for just guessing which intersections I'd been passing through. That had taken me 2 hours to conclude I was lost. Crazy to think that just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. They extended as far as the eye could see. If you flipped the scenery upside down and shook it, it's likely even a shred of civilization would tumble out. Besides, the asphalt below, my sweet ride, and the lamppost above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was. Guess I'll keep driving. I'd go as far as I could. Worst comes to worst, I could just camp at the side of the road. That's a little concerning already, but okay. 2 hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that. Basically, camping wasn't an option. The mountain had no side to camp on. The dump truck I've passed literally barely fit onto it. I had my first few close encounters with wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 boars, 3 deer in these 2 hours alone. One of the deer had run parallel to my bike while intently staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that. I felt if it could smell my fear, and did it just make it worse? How dare that thing do it to a human? We're the kings of this planet, damn it. I'd have to remember to eat some venison once I came back to civilization. Anyway, camping out here was a bad idea. I'd end up either a roadkill or animal food. And yet, I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm a pretty warped sort of guy, and I won't pretend otherwise. That was actually the reason why my once comfortable relationship had gone awry, and why I'd gone on this stupid trip. Flashback? Still, despite acknowledging that, I chose to keep moving forward. It wasn't like I'd find a place to stay if I went back. I was actually starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. It was really getting late at this point. Where would these roads take me, anyway? It'd probably be disappointing. Soon enough, the road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. Forest remained abundant though, so I still didn't see much. Even though the streetlights and signs were enough to make me feel I was again nearing civilization. Streetlights, the expression for lights in a forest? I'd have to look that up. As the lights grew less rugged, I realized just how exhausted I was. All this bike handling had left my hands really sore too. Really had to rest. Suddenly I saw something unexpected. Powerful, colorful, artificial lights. Convenience store? Yes, that's exactly what it was. It was next to an intersection between the road I was on and another. Even thinner road than that could probably support only a single car. The sea of trees ended, giving room for the majestic child of our consumerist society. Yeah, that was an exaggeration. Apparently even a damn store was a big deal for someone who just stepped out of the wild. Called Freshmark. Seen several of them a few times during the day. It was probably a local franchise. The building didn't look all that old. At least the parking lot looked a lot smaller compared to the roads. This was a pretty weird place to build something like that, though. Was I close to a settlement, or did they actually make a profit off of lost travelers? I'd just asked that or something. The local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts, not to mention, I was thirsty. I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. It looked like a normal convenience store. There were goods on the shelves, the counter on the left, and... whoa. The worker at the counter was so mean-looking, it was scary. She was imposing. She was so imposing, I wouldn't have even doubted if someone told me she was in charge of some ladies' army corps. Hey. Was that supposed to be a greeting? It was so damn cold it actually gave me chills. Was this store shadier than it appeared? Was I about to be stupidly overcharged? Was this how the place made a profit? By taking advantage of lost people and basically beating them out of their money? Shit, that was scary. Clearly the Wonderland has only just begun. Woohoo! I sure was so excited for the beating. I grew some nerves and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she just looked down at the magazine in her hands. Oh, so she was just a slacker. Slightly disappointed, I walked around the store. Okay, at least we got music. It was about what you'd expect. There was a small shelf with energy drinks, followed by some stationaries, travel goods, sanitary, etc. For sweets, it came with toys, shelf cup ramen, dried food, a fridge, a freezer. It all looked normal. It was late, so the daily dish and packed lunch section was completely empty. The only thing about this place was a section full of unpacked vegetables you'd expect to see at green grocers. Maybe all rural convenience stores were like this? Question mark. I was slightly surprised by that, but there weren't any local fine foods or anything, so in all, it was an unremarkable store if you ignored the clerk anyway. Took a drink and brought it to the register. Yep, she really was the highlight of this place. What kind of clerk smokes while dealing with a customer? You're actually buying? Yes, I was actually buying. She was the clerk, and I'd be her god, the customer. 126 yen. She didn't even scan it. This exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead. Maybe I had to get mad at her? Can I ask something? Huh? Kinda lost right now. I quickly turned meek. Where can I find the nearest town? There. Don't you have a map or something? We don't. Haha, man, this woman. I'm not sure I believe that. Convenience stores often get asked for directions. You must have a map handy. That a rule? Well, we don't have one. Go back wherever you came from. I'm lost for a few hours. I don't think I can keep it up for much longer. Sleep on the floor or something. She had to be joking. Appreciate the sentiment, but I'd rather be on my way. Are you sure you can't help? Ugh, alright, just wait. Found it. She did have a map, of course she did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving an explanation. This here is the store. Go to the north of the crossroads. You'll find an overpass soon enough. Cross it. When you come to a fork next to a giant boulder, turn right and head straight. Huh? On this road? What of it? There's nothing there. There's a settlement. It's just not on the map. Do you know of any other places? There's Fujiyoshi, but that's 2 hours through a mountain pass. This one's about 30 minutes away. Seemed to be a village. Didn't look at that too far away, but the road leading to it was a huge branching mess. Clearly just a paved mountain pass. I've had enough of those for this one day. Probably I'd get lost just again. Just get lost again. I'll go to that one then. Thank you. Money? Excuse me? You didn't pay for the tea. Here's 500 yen. Why didn't you put the change in the collection box Why did you put the change in the collection box without asking me? Having too many coins is a pain, ain't it? That was a hell of a line. I casually thanked her, grabbed the plastic bottle of tea. She didn't give me a bag, by the way. Left the store. I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon, obscured by clouds, but still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The clerk put me in a bad mood, though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle in a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. Across the overpass and at the first fork in the road. Bypass, she told me, was really narrow. Probably wouldn't have noticed if there were tall boulders standing there like a road sign showing from the traveler. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than before. Okay. This might get scary now. Finally. Oof. A veil of dead leaves covered the ground. Tall grass sided the path. The sky above was blocked by overgrown shrubs, making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. Still, really didn't expect the road to just end. It happened about 15 minutes in. The view ahead suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later, the bike tipped forward. I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. My bike tilted downwards, and its suspension was put in the greatest test yet, as we basically tumbled down to the bottom. The headlights suddenly shone on some dirt and grass. I knew that I'd be flung out of my seat. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down without collapsing. That was a big task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, it jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched into the air. A moment later, I had a crash and felt an impact, after which came an unpleasant pain. Ooh. Damn it. An accident where I was flung out like that was a first for me. The launch was really something, too. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. My breathing stopped for the moment. The pain was so bad, I thought all my bones shattered. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine, at least, though. I wasn't sure if that counted as a silver lining. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even through the gloves. That and the smell of green made it pretty clear what I landed on. I pushed down and my hands sunk. The grass growth was pretty hefty. Probably the reason why I came out relatively okay. Sure, my joints creaked when I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm it, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike, however, was not nearly as lucky. Oh boy. It was lying on the side, short distance ahead. The engine was still on. The back wheel kept on turning, making an unpleasant frictive noise. Yep, busted. I walked up, killed the engine, took the key. The headlights off, I surrounded by absolute darkness, so I just stood and waited until my eyes adjusted. Couldn't see very clear, but it looked like there actually wasn't a cliff. I was still on a road, just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. That woman actually tried to kill me. Sorry about that. Zigzagging through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deep into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. Partially stuck in the mud, so that was a risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around? The moment I considered that, I thought I saw a faint light ahead. The woman wasn't lying. This road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket's pocket, took out my phone, and opened it. As you'd expect, out of range. I ran the light app and shone a light to see better. Though weak, it was better than nothing. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. I had no idea how long I'd been walking for. Sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than I expected. I could hear water, too. I might have been near a river. Still declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take a few years off of our lives. That was why I figured it was best for us both to let another know we were here before that happened. However, no response. Hello? Showed my light ahead and realized I made it into an opening. Sure enough, there was a river, or a stream rather. I could see slightly that I was surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky riverbed in the shallows. The light I'd seen was on the other side. From what I could tell, it was either a lantern or a flashlight. It was close to the ground. I didn't see any people though. No one responded to my shouting either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. It was cold. Put my phone back into my pocket. I needed both my hands free in case I fell. Not stopping or backing down, I walked toward the light. The light became deeper. The water reached my knees now. That was too close for comfort. Feeling the bottom with my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The flow was fiercer than I expected. If I slipped and fell, I'd probably be washed away. Suddenly hit me I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Then it was unpleasant wet sound in every step. I walked to the light. I could already see it clearly. Yep, it was a flashlight. Flying on the ground for some reason. Ooh, the music changed. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff right beside it. As you'd expect, I didn't see or sense anyone nearby. What the hell? Though old, the flashlight was working fine. The strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. That meant that someone was actually using this tonight. Or rather, until a few moments ago. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening, and yet the user was nowhere in sight, and I was near a river. Something bad happened? The flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely and worst possible scenario. However, the flashlight was left practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there to light things up. The dead of night. There was no way you wouldn't notice dropping your flashlight when it was so dark. Right. The fact that the light source was left in plain sight was strange by itself. What's going on here? What if someone heard my stupid shot and decided to lure me in with a light so they could ambush me? Where they would attack from? Above? Hello? Heard a voice. That moment looked up. The rock cliff was actually made of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them. Hello? Wow, a person. You surprised me. That was my line. Sorry, could you pick that up for me? The voice was feminine. I finally realized what was going on. Did you drop this? Picked up the flashlight and pointed at the source of the voice. Ah! High-pitched voice, slender hands shielding the light. Sure enough, it was a young woman. It's so bright. Oh, sorry, this is me, by the way. That's creepy. Don't shine it up from below like that. I'm actually a bit lost. I think a bit is something of an understatement then. Yeah, I thought as much. Is this a settlement? That's a difficult question. Can you help me out at least? Oh, my cat. Hiding with the camera again. Help! I just need a place to hide from the rain and wild animals, that's all. Standing on a boulder, the young woman made a pensive face. Sorry guys, my cat is really messing with the camera today. Want to come to my place? And that was the conclusion she'd arrived at. Her face told me she was 100% serious. Place by my place. Surely she meant a house, a settlement. Can I? I know I asked for help and all that, but I'm actually desperate enough to not hold myself back. Huh? As a man? Yes, I mean no. I've been lying. I spent the last few hours aimlessly... Yes, I mean no. As a living being, I spent the last few hours aimlessly driving around only to fall off my bike. I'm dead tired and at my wit's end here. Oh dear, then what kind of living being would I be if I just abandoned you? And so I was saved. So I was saved. The beauty of living beings looking out for each other. Anyway, your hand please? You can't climb up your own, yeah? True, honestly I didn't even realize I'd have to. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which was followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. It wasn't crippling, though. She extended her left hand, so I grabbed it with my own left. Her slender fingers were stronger than expected. The name's Chiemi Serizawa. I asked if she was related to the Shinsugumi guy, but she said that her family just adopted the name at some point in the Meiji. This was her hometown. She was spending her post-exams vacation here. We chatted about stuff like that once she'd let me out of the rocky ravine. Actually a proper pass, so the rock climb was pretty pointless, but I was too focused on my footing to comment. She told me about herself as soon as we reached solid ground. And what about you? I'm a graduate student at Tokyo College. Ah, so you're a bit older. I'm 24, so 3 years. I'd say we're in the same age range. Yeah, so don't dare be formal with me. Alright, then you can be casual with me too. Can I really? I like it when girls are friendly with me. Well, I know what you mean. I don't like stiff socializing either. Sure, I'll treat you like a friend. Wouldn't have it any other way. That aside, are we there yet? Not quite. We're like 5 minutes away. Hang in there, Chief. What a lively girl. You could tell she was used to people. Also, watch your step and focus on the light. Any reason? There was a lot of pebbles here. It's dangerous. It's pretty dark tonight. I gotta change. Wait here a sec. And so I did just that. This was a mountain settlement. I expected some old wooden house, but she actually lived in an apartment block. Too dark to get a good look at it. All I could see were cheap-looking walls, like you'd expect for some old boarding house for students. I've heard some raindrops as we were climbing up the rusty stairs, but now it was really pouring. Between that and the darkness and the large tree right next to the building, it was nearly impossible to see what was going on outside. Felt like I was all alone in a world of nothing but the walls, the door, and the fluorescent lamp above my head. Made me feel somewhat helpless. I distracted myself from that by imagining her changing. Eventually the door opened. Sorry about that. Sorry about the wait. Come in. All smile, she showed herself now wearing sports clothes. This was kind of exciting. Where is this leading? Look at this place. It's completely empty, huh? Yep. But get a load of what's in the fridge. Magnificent. Let's drink. Hell yeah. Yeah, her place was really empty. Just a small room with a low table in the middle, a fridge near the door, and just a large duffel bag deeper in. There were two old-looking bookshelves too, but they were completely empty. I wasn't bothered one bit though. Any girl's room was a wonderland to me. Anyway, you went through some big trouble, so I'll drink to you. And I'll drink to you for helping me out. You're a real saint. We opened our cans, knocked them together, and downed them. Hey, it was actually good. The pleasant bitterness and the refreshing carbonation made for a good combo. So good, I live for this. Come on, you're too young to say that. Yeah, you're right. I'm not despairing for my future or love life yet. You hear that? That's the sound of job hunting. It's a coming here fast. No, don't say that. You'll ruin my beer. She laughed and took a huge sip. It was pretty clear she could hold her drink. That aside, something really bothered me. Might be a bit late for this. Can I ask you something? Go ahead. Her cheeks were really mad. Maybe she didn't handle her liquor as well as I thought. She had a well-featured face, and I didn't think it was wrong to consider her beautiful. Sure, her clothes weren't the least bit sexy, but I could tell she had some makeup on. You yourself are a young woman who invited a stranger into his closed space and started getting drunk. Oh, don't you think this is dangerous? She kept gulping the drink even as she formulated a response. The very fact that I could just watch her do that made this a pretty risky situation, and yet I wouldn't say so. But time for the quiz. Here's the question. My virginity is threatened, yet I don't feel like I'm in danger. Why? What a fun girl. That only made me like her more and increasing the danger even further. Am I allowed to ask questions? Can I just assume that it's not because I look like a good guy? Well, I don't think you look like a bad guy, but no, I don't think you're good either. You look experienced with women, for one. The unintentional compliment showed me that she actually did see me as potential danger. There are two types to answer this. Either you expect nothing bad to happen, but wouldn't be bothered if it did, or you actually want something to happen. I can think of several situations for the former. For example, you're actually on the edge and don't care about what happens. Or maybe you're just confident you can defend yourself. Maybe you know martial arts and can easily kick my ass. Whoa, so logical. Let me guess, you're just a scientist. Well, I guess you could say that. Now for the latter. If you intend for something to happen, then I'm a thirsty perv or something. Wow, talk about not mincing words. Haha, blame the booze. So what else is there? Gee, what other reason could a woman have to bring a stranger to her home? It would surely be something non-standard, like you want to use me somehow. For example, setting me up as an alibi could be useful for testing that you were here. Whoa, that's so shrewd. Maybe you're a serial killer who brought me here to get me drunk and kill me. Whoa, so I'm some evil mountain witch now. Sounds great. I'll kill you real good, splash splash. What kind of sound effect was that? By the way, you forgot another case. I did? Yep, I could just be a really good person who simply wants to help you. Is it time for me to be ashamed of my filthy mind? But wait, is that really important enough to risk being assaulted? Oh, so you're thinking of assaulting me. Yo, this combo is crazy. I'm just talking in general, you know, the cliche scenario. She stopped talking and turned red. It was so cute, though, I actually thought she was doing it on purpose. Man, she was drunk. We were just on the second cans. There's some wild, scary animals around here. You might have even gotten torn up and eaten. That left a bad taste in my mouth, so I figured I'd just let you stay instead. I see, so you're balancing risk and goodwill. Didn't expect that. Really now? You got any idea how much of a bad guy you seem now? Huh? I do? I mean, you assumed I was a thirsty perv, a serial killer, or needed an alibi before considering I was a nice person. You brought up the perv thing. Details, details. So what's the right answer? Huh? We're not just messing around? Get it right and I give you a nice present. Get it wrong and you're dead. Seriously? Oh my god. Man. I'm gonna go with this one. You'd feel guilty if you let me die. Ding, 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 you're right. Oh, cool. Well, I wasn't joking when I said there's 8 areas dangerous. There's deers, boar, wild dogs, and bears. I actually saw deer and boars myself. Yep, moon bears, though. They aren't big, but they do attack. It's pretty dangerous out there. That's just wild, but there's something even worse. Snakes, monkeys, crows, spiders. Were they venomous or something? I really doubted that. They didn't seem worse than bears. Also, wolves. There aren't any wolves in Japan. Yeah, there are. You're in the sticks, you know. You smiled and drank a 3rd can. Speaking of wolves, whatever the reason, you ended up coming into a pretty girl's home. Won't you become a wolf yourself? What a gentleman. Have another one. Perhaps I wasn't being curious enough, but then again, I've been wandering aimlessly for a long time now. I had enough recklessness in me for sharing a drink with a cute, if shady girl. Okay, so I'm gonna save there. There was a lot going on in that, and I do like the visual novel style so far. So that was the first look for Raging Loop by Kemco. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm gonna be trying to show more. Like the video said, I can only show so much. Maybe I can give a review later on. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at fstein_gaming and Twitch at Frankenstein_gaming. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.